To be honest with you, like Sony's coming in with them heavy hitters and stuff. You know, the fact of the matter is that we got some trailer reveals of God of War, and we also got a little bit of course, a little bit of a
Knights over
zero.
Republic.
Yeah, we got that, and dude, Insomniac Games coming in. I don't think they take any breaks.
No, not at all.
Like, what the fuck? Like, they come out with Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, and I'm like, I said, did y'all take a break in between? Like, what the fuck? Like, damn, Wolverine was surprising. Because I gotta admit, the Wolverine game that I played when it was made by was it Activision or whatever the fuck? You know, the movie one?
Right. Wolverine Origins. What do you think?
Yeah, that was good. But if Sony Games is gonna do something to that degree with Wolverine with plus more, and I'm like, yo, I'm in for it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Wolverine, the Wolverine game reveal, that was the most, holy shit! Like, they haven't really touched the X-Men in games for a long time. You know, I know we had Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the Switch like 2 years ago, or whatever, and they had the X-Men fully featured on there. And Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, you know, that is what it is. So it's good that we got the X-Men back in a video game, and and it's good that hey, Wolverine Insomniac, that's like, holy, that's just a made in heaven, man. In terms of like just a grand AAA superhero title, and everyone was begging for Wolverine, the Avengers, you know, Square Enix's Avengers game. It's like, fuck that shit. We're gonna do a full featured game, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I just jumped in the conversation. I apologize. What did I miss?
Go. Oh, I just asked though from the Sony PlayStation showcase, what basically made the biggest impression for you, man? Thought all those reveals and trailers and expose on them.
Okay. From what I saw, I don't know if anybody knows. This is King Arthur, by the way. But I literally just got off work, so I wasn't prepared for this. But right now, like a lot of games that were on that showcase impressed me. Like Project Eve, it was like a combination of Devil May Cry and it was a combination of Bayonetta all in one game. The graphics for it look amazing. One thing I've been noticing, this is like kind of off topic with it, but a lot of like Chinese and Korean games that are coming out lately have been looking on point. Like Lost Soul Aside, the Wukong game. I don't know if y'all heard about the Wukong that's been coming out. It's like
I've been seeing snapshots on YouTube, but I think it's like everything that's a real game.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a real game. Like Lost Soul Aside is supposed to come out next year on the PS5, in 2022. The Wukong game looks amazing, and then this game called Project Eve is great. The one thing that I am taking away from this is Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, like I heard the rumors that it was coming. I heard all the talk, all the rumors. They were like, "Oh, it's coming," and I'm like, "It's not coming. It's not coming." And then I don't know if y'all heard, but Tony Todd, Candyman himself, is the voice of Venom in this game.
Now that's a haymaker. That is a fucking maker, bro.
Like, because I heard the voice, I was like, I know that voice from somewhere. And then I looked online, and then Tony Todd knew about this for 2 months. He said, "This is a long game. That's why it's gonna take 2023 for it to be done." So he knew about it a while back. And now he's like told a fan asked the question. He's like, "I've only 2 months. That's why we got like 2 years for this to come out, a year and a half." So
yeah.
So Spider-Man 2 is going to be a contender for Game of the Year 2023. I'm calling it now because Spider-Man I think won Game of the Year. It was nominated 1 year, I think 2018 or 2017. It's gonna take an award like that and God of War. God of War. I don't know if y'all been seeing about God of War Ragnarok, but it's getting a lot of hate from what they perceive Thor to be. And if you look at the comics and mythology, Thor's not really like a buff dude. Like Thor's a dude. You know, he's built like a strongman, and most strongmen are built like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Sony. Literally was playing no games. To quote a friend of mine, Sony was playing no games. Literally,
They were playing no games but broad games.
it's like, look, we ain't playing games no more. Like we pull out some big guns, like, and then Knights of the Old Republic remake. That game was on Xbox back in the day and PC. It was on PC and Xbox. Where is it at coming out now? PS5. Like, Sony. It's like Sony got all my money. Sony is getting all my money in the next 2 years.
You know what? It's crazy that I had to watch this the showcase because to be honest with you, you know, like I have not turned on the PS5 in a while, man. Like I've beaten all the fun games I could think of for it, you know, and even played some of the PS4 games on it, but I have not played it, you know, ever since. You know, I mean, yeah, I'll play some PC and I'll play the PS4, you know, because like a lot of my fighting games on the PS4, but you know, for the PS5, it's like, you know, I was like, what's there to play and stuff like that. But then after that showcase, it's like, okay. But you know, not to be a negative Nancy or anything else, I'm excited for all these games, but these are games I ain't gonna be able to play until 2023. You know, so
Yeah.
I got 2022 to sit around and be like, all right, well, what we gonna do and stuff like that. However, that's more than I could say about an Xbox Series X or S. You know, like I'm still in the market for an Xbox Series X, but it's like it would also deal with the same consequence, like, you know, the same, you know, the same deal with the PlayStation 5, where it'll probably just sit around and stuff like that. But it's just one of those things that's like, you know, it's just nice to have, you know. I mean, I do want to play Halo, but I'm not pressed for Halo. I'm not that. I mean, I'm not the type of person that wants to be like, all right, all I want to play is FPS games on the Xbox and stuff like that. Because if I wanted to do that, I'll be on the PC all day. You know, like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
but other than that, you know, like I've wanted Xbox to follow suit with what Sony is doing. We're bringing in as exclusives, and I think they're ignoring that aspect, you know, because PlayStation, which is a showcase, literally was a real what a showcase is supposed to be done. Like, I don't see any negative reports about this. Normally, you know, gamers are hard to please and stuff like that. You know, they're more like they're more entitled than anything else, you know. But the showcase here brought the rain and the thunder and everything, you know, and they brought the fire because, you know, that Korean game that was announced, stuff like that. I
Project
was
Eve.
Project Eve. I was like, I was mixed, but I was like, wait a minute, this is a Korean main character, you know, and I do like playing, like I do like playing games with, like, you know, with a female main character and stuff like that, and I I couldn't, you know, take away the fact that says, all right, cool, this must be like a Korean Bayonetta or some shit, you know. You know? But
The graphics on it look so good though. Like,
yeah, I give it that, but the thing is like my thing about new IPs, it's a hit and miss with me. I don't gravitate to them right away, you know. And with
I
this
gotcha.
one, yeah, it's like with this one, like I might take a chance because, like, look at the new IPs that came out for the PS4 and stuff like that. You know, you had Death Stranding and you had a Days Gone and a couple of new IPs that was out. And I was like, you know, it was Zero Horizon Dawn was a new IP for PlayStation 4 and stuff. You know,
I mean,
and
that game literally, like Horizon, the Forbidden West is gonna sell just because of the name. Like,
yeah, you know, and like I said, like it takes those type of things, you know, for me to take time and try out. But yeah, because like I didn't even get Spider-Man when it first came out on the PS4, you know, but ever since then I just been hooked, you know, and I platinum that game. So yeah, it was no brainer when Miles Morales came out. So I bought that a day one. So Spider-Man 2 would be about day one. And Insomniac Games doing a Wolverine. Like, that is a new IP, and I said, you know what, I could see myself doing a day one with that because I can back Insomnia Games. Like they bring it in, the heat and the thunder. But as for that Korean game, you know, I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see how I feel about it. You know, because
Right.
I I had to give it, like I said, a few more videos, but the opening presentation for it came in strong. For it to be,
Yeah.
for it to be one of the games they open with is very impressive. It's like Sony's got faith in this one. And as I said before, there's a few other Korean games that are graphically great that weren't on the showcase.
Mhm.
That I mean, Sony's pulling out some guns this year. Like Deathloop, I really don't care for. You
No.
know, but, like you said, like God of War impressed me,
Mhm.
God of
and
War
I
is
feel
like, dude, that's a classic game. Like
yeah.
classic. It's the last one was incredible. I didn't finish it, and I need to finish it. But this being a continuation of that, and the graphics and the gameplay, and I mean, come on now, like God of War, that's a system seller. That's like, yeah, that's. I mean, they're bringing Thor's hammer down on Microsoft with all
Yeah.
the titles that they showed off, and I know you guys are feeling nice and cozy, knowing you got a PS5 right in your living room or your, what I'm saying, or your room, or because everyone else like, oh shit, I need to buy one. It is hard as fuck. Find, going into the holiday season is gonna get worse, and then, 2022 we'll see. But at the very least, I know you guys got a little bit of a wait for these games, but it's like at least I have it, and I can kind of sit on it and wait because I know, like in the end, man, they once this thing starts, cooking, it's really gonna, man, titles are really gonna pop, man. I mean, Knights of the Overclock. How was that? I mean, was that exclusive or is it, or is confirmed that it's coming on like next gen eventually?
I can take a look at it, but it said remaster specific to the PS5.
Uh,
Also, a game that I kind of want to talk about is Forspoken.
Yeah. Forspoken.
Forspoken is a Square Enix game. I think this is
Yeah.
what Final Fantasy 15 was supposed to have been because I know the
Mhm.
mm,
devs of 15 worked on that game, and from what it looks like kind of like a third person, like it's like third person like an RPG, but it has
Mhm.
the elements of like Dirge of Cerberus where you can use magic to attack your foes and stuff, and like the cuss words, of course, kind of is different. It feels like the Final Fantasy 15 but better, and the fact that it's a female main character in the story is what's drawing me to this.
Yeah.
Um, Gran Turismo 7. I know a lot of people wait for Gran Turismo. Like they've been waiting for that since the PS4 for a new, better Gran Turismo, and they're finally getting on the
right.
five. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
and
With the
then
with
go
Gran
ahead, Ty.
Turismo, yeah, it's good. With Gran Turismo, like I haven't played Gran Turismo in a minute and stuff like that, but like seeing what they're doing with like graphic wise stuff like that, and seeing what they're going to do with Gran Turismo, I kind of want to take a bite out of the simulation world. I mean, I'm talking about buying the wheel and everything, shit.
Like you
So
try to go all out.
yeah, I mean, this is the last console generation for me. So Gran Turismo might be that ticket seller for me to actually go ahead and pick that up. But yeah, man, Forspoken and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of off putting, like the characters and stuff like that. The character model and everything else does not look anything like a Square Enix would do. So
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's like, what, it's a game that it's a new IP that I might take a chance on buying day one. Might,
yeah. Because I know Forspoken is using Square Enix's new Illuminous engine, and I don't know if you remember, but a while back they had a game called like Anya's. Like it was like a 5 second clip, and it was just showing off the engine. And I know that's the engine they're using for Final Fantasy 16,
Mhm.
and that's that engine. So I know they're using Unreal. They were using Unreal for some of the games, but I know for a fact that the Illuminous engine is going to be what they're using for Forspoken in 16. And if Forspoken is what they're pushing out before 16, and that's what the engine looks like, I'm excited. Like this is kind of the time to be a gamer at this moment. You get two new consoles that are out. We're about to see the potential of one of them with all these releases. It sucks that some going to be 2022, but if you think about it, some of them are like about 6 months away. Like
Mhm.
February's got a few titles coming out. February is actually stacked. We'll talk about that in another episode, I'm pretty sure. But 'cause I know February is stacked with games. But the future is looking bright for PlayStation fans at this moment.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Good,
for,
good
for damn
IPs,
sure.
good Yeah, good IPs. You got good like sequels coming out. Games that you didn't think you wanted until you saw it, and now you want them. Like
Mhm.
that's what a company is supposed to do. And Sony, like I literally wanted every single game that they showed on that showcase. I want that one. I want that one. I was like a kid in the candy store. I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you. I want to fill up. Like Sony, it's promising. The future for the PlayStation is very promising. I'm mad
Yeah,
they didn't give us a I'm mad they didn't give us new updates on new consoles or new color of a system, but you take what you can get these days.
yeah, we will wait on it because that black edition is probably gonna come 2024 or whatever. They're gonna
Mhm.
make you for all those extra colors and everything like that. But I mean, Gran
Mhm.
Turismo 5. I'm not even the last one I played was 3, and that was like the greatest hits version on PS2, bro. Like, but this I saw the trailer for that, bro, and I'm like, yo, this is something like this is just a graphical powerhouse. It's just something that's like, damn, this shit looks so good that you're like, screw it, I buy it, I play it. Like I literally would just play this game just because how beautiful it is. And I know, hey, Gran Turismo has great gameplay as well. It's not the arcade style; it's very, very in depth. But it's like it's just one of those titles where you play and people are just like, damn, is that a video game? Like you know what I'm saying? Like just one of those titles where it's just seems like it's really gonna showcase that PS5 hardware and tech, man. But I will go back on the Spider-Man 2 because the trailer was very interesting. It does seem like we got Miles PD teaming up, and it seems like there might be some co-op functionality with
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2.
We spoke
Uh,
on this before, what the possibilities might be. The fact of the matter is, we all knew that the symbiote suit was missing, so we could possibly get one for Miles Morales and for Peter Parker.
mm-hmm.
Now, as for the possible tag, it's looking like they might add a tag mechanic or something like that, because now that you got Peter Parker, because it's coming off, this is leaving off of from Miles Morales taking over New York City while Peter Parker was out of country with Mary Jane and stuff like that. So I'm guessing now that Peter Parker is back, I'm thinking they're gonna add a tag mechanic and stuff like that, because now we just know, like, I mean, Deon, I know you haven't played Miles Morales and stuff like that, but there's going to be a little bit of a power difference going on here, because Miles Morales is a little bit has more abilities than Peter
Right,
Parker.
right. But I think they
So I don't.
pressed that
I,
with the slims. It looks like Peter got more tech with his suit now. In that trailer.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do, but like, if they're gonna make Peter Parker to be as equally as powerful as Miles Morales, that'd be cool. But if not, I'm gonna keep playing Miles Morales. I don't want to play Peter Parker. you know.
but
Yeah,
like you
man.
said, I just want to know who that villain is because everybody's like saying that it's like Craven or because from what I gathered from my point of view, a lot of people like Venom is the villain. I said I don't know because the way this person was like, I'm looking for somebody who's stronger, equal, who can stand up to me, and Venom says we will. So I'm thinking that it's gonna be like two sides. So you have like Miles and Peter, and then you have Eddie on the different side trying to find out who this villain is. I don't know if it's Morlun, I believe that's what it's called. The Spider Totem guy.
Right, Moreland. Yeah, that was a great
Morlun.
villain. That's all Spider Verse right there. That was the whole cause of it
Yeah.
all.
I'm just wondering if Morlun is a villain. And it sounded like Craven. It sounded like Craven, but I'm like, Craven wouldn't I mean he's a hunter, and I'm pretty sure the hunter would like an equal or somebody to surpass him, you know. But I mean, Kramer would be a good addition to add to the Spider games, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
you're gonna play as all three. I think you're gonna play as all three. I think you're gonna play as Venom. I think you're gonna play as Peter and Miles, and there's gonna be some mechanics.
Ooh,
I think
shit.
I think Venom is going. I think Venom is probably going to be a DLC. I don't think that's going to be something you're going to be able to do right off the bat.
Oh yeah, that
That,
game's definitely gonna get some DLC. It has to.
yeah,
You
that's a
know,
smart
but
move.
as
That's a very smart move for
but
him.
here's the thing about Spider-Man 2 now, because they played around with the city, the design of the city, because for the first
Mhm.
Spider-Man stuff like that, you got to swing around New York in the daytime and the nighttime. The weather really never changed after that. It's just been your normal weather from daytime and nighttime. with Miles Morales, it's more you're swinging around mostly in the wintertime. So you had snow and puddles on the ground, puddles on the floor, and everything else, and that changed the dynamic of New York City. Spider-Man 2, they're gonna have to change the city up a little bit more. So, I don't know what possibilities they might have. They could have symbiotes like this, like, you know, like I don't know, like being stuck to different corners of the city and stuff like that, or whatever. Like something has to go down in the city to change the dynamic of the stage, because you basically the city is your stage to swing around it, and maneuver, and it's also going to have to push the ability of the PlayStation 5 as well, so they're going to try to make it a lot more detailed with whatever might be happening in New York City. I don't know if the New York City is going to take place at a more of a darker tone, or if they're going to have an eclipse over the sun or something like that, or I don't know what they're going to do. But they're Spider-Man 2, they're going to try to change the dynamics of how you navigate through New York. And the fact of the matter is, you got Venom running around who could possibly, like, take you off your track to get anywhere else, because they're, with Venom, Peter Parker, and I don't think Miles Morales could even sense, will not be able to sense Venom,
Nope, they shouldn't.
So
he's into their spider sense.
Yeah, so Venom could come out of nowhere. He could be swinging to your destination, or swinging to do a mission, and here comes Venom knocking your ass out, just because he feels like it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I am interested because now that's essentially the third game with that New York City landscape, and and that's your stage. So I am interested to see what they really do to diversify the whole New York City landscape to where it's ineffectively like, oh, it feels fresh. Like I'm still swimming around the city, but it's slightly different, and it feels very fresh still. So, I mean, with my question to you, I both played Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS5, is knowing that Spider-Man 2 is like pretty much not right on the, but it's like, already in development. Like, we didn't have to wait 2 years, 3 years to know what it is. Do y'all still like this Spider-Man and Miles Morales for like a demo, or pretty much a extended DLC, sort of speak, that was launched as a standalone game?
Sorry.
You go
To
ahead.
me, the Miles Morales game kind of seemed like it should have been like a DLC story. I heard it was like 20 hours. It should have been like a very big expansion to that game instead of being a standalone. Because if it's a standalone, you want your game to be about 30 to 40 hours long. If it's an action game, maybe 50. But it was like 25 hours, so it's half that. So, my opinion, I think it should have been better as a extra expansion, like a DLC added to it. And you see it from Miles' point of view. But I know they're trying to push it out for the 5. So, I mean, it still sold. It still sold a lot of money.
Yeah, it did. It did.
It sold copies. But this one, they say it's going to be bigger than the last one. And that's why it's waiting 2 years, a year and a half, almost 2 years for it to come out.
So Miles Morales is looking like the demo for PS5, essentially. That was the demo game for Spider-Man mechanic running on PS5. Is that much kind of like getting with?
I think so.
In retrospect, but here's the thing though, like the fact of the matter is coming out in 2023. I don't know what else can they do to change the dynamic of the game. That's the reason why I was thinking. I was talking about, like, changing the dynamic of, like, with the stage and everything else. What could possibly change the landscape of Spider-Man, because the fact of the matter is the foundation has already been set. The state, like, for Spider-Man and Miles Morales and stuff like that, you don't there's no need to add more polygons to that game anymore. Now it's just basically trying to figure out a good story and add in new characters and stuff like that. Because now you're like, of course we got Venom in the mix, and a couple of new villains that be coming in and stuff like that. But I don't see them like, this is not a game that got to spend 6 to 7 years to make now. Like, the foundation's already been built, so now it's just figuring out, like, how to change the game and how to change the dynamic and how to keep us drawing in. Because the least that we want to do is acting like feeling like that we're playing Spider-Man 1 all over again or Miles Morales all over again. Like this just cannot be like an extended demo. This has to be a feel fresh type game.
Yeah.
Like and I'm just confused like what they could really throw in because I feel like they doing a lot for us to pick up from Spider-Man and Miles Morales. So I was like, this is the reason why it's like, with them taking a year and a half or stuff like that, to go finish the game and stuff like that. I was like, what couldn't they do in a short time to actually make the game feel fresh and new? Like, are they going to give Spider-Man some more new abilities? Of course he's going to get or you could already expect that there's going to be a Miles Morales versus Peter Parker fight because somebody's going to get the symbiote suit, or vice
Right, yeah.
versa. So, that's pretty much going to be a given. But the fact of what can they do to the stage? What's the storyline is going to be? Like I know that seeing how Venom is in the mix, stuff like that. We can already predict what the storyline is going to be, but we're going to see how it's going to be done in. I guess you would call it the Sony universe of a Spider-Man,
Right.
and see how they're going to put that together. But I was just curious of what they're going to do. One thing that I did, speaking of Spider-Man, like one thing I didn't see is the Avengers game where it was just dead silent about that and how they're talking about they're supposed to add Spider-Man to that game. I wanted to see the new model, the new design of Spider-Man they're going to have for that game. Whether if there I was going to be right on my prediction, whether they were going to use the old model Spider-Man of from
On the
from the first,
PS4.
yeah, from the PS4, and they're going to
Uh,
have him in the new Avengers or something like that. Like I was curious if that was going to be the announcement, but if not, then shit. But yeah, that's what I was hoping for an announcement of that. And I'm glad. Well, I didn't see if they introduced a new color or controller or anything else. I'm because I was paying attention and I wasn't paying attention at the same time. Because like some games is like if I had no interest in it, I'm not gonna pay attention to it. I'll just be like, oh wow, that's pretty good.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, like those are a couple of things that I was kind of looking forward to showcase. But other than that, now I think Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine pretty much took the cake for me, and it's like, oh wow, these are games I can't wait to play, but I hope Spider-Man 2 does something to change the landscape a little bit because I don't want to play like I really don't want to play a game that I feel like that I'm playing Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales all over again.
Yeah. And I mean, just me being a Spider-Man fan per se, I'm trying to think of like a way to switch it up from New York City landscape. My thing is maybe interiors, maybe more interior buildings, like you go inside Oscorp, or there's a subway system, and you got to find the lizard, and there's a whole, I know the X-Men have the Morlocks, they have like hidden the ground cities, mutants and
Mhm.
and hobos, but I know they can't exactly go that route in this, but maybe there's a way series, and you got to find the lizard, and then there's lizard people down there. I know. Gosh, what's that? The one girl, she's a Black Widow copy. I forgot him, but you can't have shield helicarriers in there because obviously that's the Avengers. That would have been kind of an interesting dynamic to have. Like, okay, you're on a shield helicarrier, and your guys are floating around the city. You can go inside the shield helicarrier or whatever. Um, so I'm thinking maybe interiors, like maybe you can go inside, Oscorp, maybe go inside the subway system, and underground. With Venom and Carnage, well, not Carnage being confirmed, but with Venom and Eddie Brock, it does seem like they could have possibly like a Nemesis and Resident Evil 3 dynamic of this guy who's just, you can't detect him and he's coming for your ass and you need help. Like Miles can't take him on his own, or Peter can't take him on his own. And that's like, there could be a little bit of a hunter dynamic with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know there was Spider-Man Web of Shadows that was on PS3 and 360, where it was like symbiote alien invasion New York City, so people were turned into symbiotes and whatnot.
Yeah.
They could. That is a lot to basically redo that and put that in Spider-Man 2 PS5 graphics. That's a lot of work, with the symbiote mechanics, ooze, and all this and that. That could be like a whole game finale, so to speak, as well.
They
You know,
might just do that. But they could probably have like the symbiote possessing people, because down the line, probably in 2024, they can have a Carnage DLC where now you're actually swinging through New York with red skies and everything. Like to
right.
change the dynamic up a little bit.
Or like the Spider-Verse movie with the finale with Kingpin and the realities kind of merging with like that and the science experiments. Like maybe you could have a stage where there's some kind of multi-dimensional thing and there's weird crazy effects and interior stuff like that. Maybe not so outside of New York City, but what's inside buildings, what's inside these places. Like imagine going up Hell's Kitchen, right? And I know these other comic references, but of like really fighting criminals inside like some really crummy areas. We broke down apartment complexes and try to find really like, oh man, now it's like I really wish now it's like, well shit, the Punisher could show up and now it's like, damn, now I wish Sonic could really lend out some of the Marvel could let some of the other characters and put them in Spider-Man games, freshen it up a little bit. Got like this perfect engine, but I know the licensing and all this. It's a Sony game, and they can only stick with Spider-Man related characters. But it would just be so cool if you could go in Matt Murdock's apartment complex and be like, "Hey, I need you for this mission." And Matt Murdock is now at your side. Daredevil's at your side as you try to go in Kingpin's tower, and you got to fight up the tower to get to Kingpin, and he's up there, and he has some kind of supervillain waiting to guard him from you shutting down Kingpin or something like that.
That'd be dope. That'd be
Yeah.
dope. Or I mean, now that Blade is now now a gaming character now because I was at the new Marvel game coming out.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I saw that trailer. It was like Midnight
so
or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. So it's like if they would have added Blade and stuff like that, we could have vampires finally in New York or something like that, where Spider-Man's gonna fight vampires around New York, so they can have like an
Shit,
underground.
Morbius.
Yeah,
Morbius. There we
more,
go. Put the
yeah.
Morbius element into it.
Put Morbius in there where you got to go down the underground tunnels and stuff like that and fight vampires and stuff like that with Spider-Man, and you got Blade by your side. That'd be dope. Or I mean, the biggest thing that like as you were talking about like changing the landscapes and all that, it's like I was thinking about Doctor Strange movie and stuff like that. So it's like, what if they threw in an element where Doctor Strange was to come into Spider-Man 2 and stuff like that and open up dimensions for Spider-Man to just jump through, and there's a whole new landscape that you get to swing through and shit like that. You could be like swinging through New York, and then all of a sudden there's a big ass dimension, that big ass dimension ring that Doctor Strange opens up for you, and you're swinging through Wakanda now. And then after that, he opens up another ring for you to swing through and shit like that. And you're out there and somewhere in Shang-Chi dynasty,
Right. And
mythical
dragons flying
airplanes
in
stuff
the
like that.
air.
Yeah, you're out there like
Yeah.
swinging in on flying on top, like you're trying to catch a dragon on the sky and stuff like that. And you're trying to watch the fight with Shang-Chi and shit like that. Then I said another dimension opens up, and then now you're swinging through, I don't know, fucking some random ass place and shit, in the Marvel universe, But Magipur, I don't know. That'd
Right,
be
right.
dope. I would love to see a city game, like a new game that makes Magipur a real place for you to
Accessible.
like. Yeah, like
Wolverine.
dude, if they make
It was the same
Wolverine
names, yeah.
Wolverine swinging through
Yeah.
Magipur, oh, I'm all about it. I'm sold.
Right. Wolverine riding his bike around Madripoor, him on his boat. And maybe that's what, hey, I'm saying with Spider-Man, maybe the sense of like we kind of hit the limit of content of right Spider-Man related villains, and maybe that's what Wolverine's going to delve into. Maybe we can get to Madripoor, we can get into the X-Men mansion, we can get into New York, we can still go to New York City because New York City, we can still go underground.
Yeah,
And with the Morlocks, we can go to the Hellfire Club, their mansions, and beat them up. You know what I'm saying? We can go to Genosha, this island that has like a concentration camp.
yeah,
We can go to Canada, what I'm saying, with and see where all the and see where all the Mutant X program was being developed, and see Logan's all the scientific experiments in the laboratories from there. So now with Wolverine, there opens up a whole lot of whole lot of characters and a whole lot of different environments to go to in that whole Marvel world, but still keeping that Insomniac quality to it. So, maybe I feel like what we've been talking about in the last couple minutes is going to take a page from that and refresh it with Wolverine. Now we can go to these different dynamics and aspects of we're out of New York City, different environments, we're fighting different people. There's going to be 20-foot tall sentinels, New York City. You gotta, and you can only play as Wolverine, but boom, there's Cyclops, boom, there's Storm, boom, there's Surge. And like, oh shit, the X-Men are here, and they're all teaming up to beat something. So maybe Insomniac could be building a whole Marvel superhero video game universe.
Probably.
Maybe Wolverine now, and then they like Square Enix fucked up with the Avengers. You'd be like, give fucking Insomniac, man, fuck it, just scrap it, stop supporting it, and give maybe Fantastic Four for Wolverine. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who the hell knows? But yeah, man, I feel like I trust Insomniac. I trust Sony. They're gonna figure out a way to try to make this Spider-Man 2 as fresh as possible. They'll find a way to remix New York. I feel like the interior locations might be where it's at. And the Wolverine game, dude, I think that's, for me personally, that is it. That is one. That is talking about all the locations he can go to, the story they do, all the characters that can show up in that game series. Man, the Dane Room on PS5, all scenarios that you can go through, the rooms constantly changing, enemy waves. Like, oh man, dude, like that game has a lot of, like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do a Wolverine 2 and a Wolverine 3, and then you're gonna find X-23 in the second game, or son's name, his son in the third game, or whatever. I'm saying there's a lot of different aspects they can do with this Wolverine game within. Kind of rebrand, reinvigorate the whole X-Men game genre with that just one title right there, bro.
But the only thing that they need to do with Wolverine is it has to be an M-rated title. I can't play it as a teen rated game. It's got to be M-rated because I love hack and slash, but Wolverine is fitting for a hack and slash game. Like he has to be out there slashing away, huh?
The one based on the movie, was that rated M? The good one?
Yeah, that was rated M. Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. There's all get out. So I was like, it needs to be in the fighting mechanic in that movie one was pretty addictive. Like I said, I was impressed for a movie game. I was expecting like some low budget bullshit, from every other movie game that you play. But this one was pretty addictive. I was like, I like this. And I only rented it. I never owned it. I just rented it, and I was like. It's like now that Insomniac is actually taking the ranks of actually doing a Wolverine movie. I said, oh, so they got the Spider-Man mechanic is already addictive enough because sometimes I catch myself swinging for no apparent reason,
right,
just to see New York, just like swinging around stuff like that. So like it's got to the point where I feel like I'm well acquainted with New York, where I can go out there and just start recognizing places and shit, But with Wolverine and stuff like that, man, like it's like if they're not going to be in New York. We got to be in a whole new surrounding and stuff like that. They can, like I said, they could be in Rajapur. Like I think, Wolverine, or you could just be Logan and just walking around Rajapur and stuff like that, and hacking and slashing villains and shit, or whatever Wolverine does, But definitely, there's got to be a danger room, to actually enhance your skills and abilities.
For sure, the Savage Lands, prehistoric environment with dinosaurs and cave people and like there's X-Men. You can go in space if you want to. The X-Men, so many different environments that they can do. They can go to space. They can go to New York City. They can go to real life locations. They got they kind of incorporate a lot of every piece of everything in the Marvel universe with teams. So I don't think he's gonna go against with Gladiator and the rest of them in space, but not in the first game. They'll ground or something like that, and they might switch it up for the second game. But man, that Juggernaut fight boss fight is gonna be phenomenal on
Oh
that
yeah.
game. That's like there's so much they can do with that character, and Logan. And all the redesigns and updates for all the looks of all your favorite X-Men characters. Man, dude, that game is good. I'm really excited for that Wolverine game, man. On another hand, I'll go back to Knights of the Old Republic because that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was an Xbox exclusive. The original,
I
um, that
heard.
that came out in 2004, 2003, 4, or 5, whatever. That was a big title for Xbox. It was pretty much, it was Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Knights of the Old Republic. That's your 1-2 punch of like the greatest Star Wars games all time. And telling me that the remake to one of the great Star Wars of all time is not going on the original platform that it debuted in. It's going to the other team exclusively.
Yeah.
That's a big knife to the back of the Xbox fans who live and breathe Star Wars and want that. Though that is them. Sony literally going up the ladder, grabbing money in the bank briefcase right in front of the opponent, and being like, "Yeah, we got shit."
Oh yeah, man.
Man.
It's a John Cena moment, man. It's like I'm signing this contract, Like, let me go steal this contract and sign it right in front of you. It's like, oh, we're about to go ahead and make this deal happen. And here comes John Cena, signs the contract. Nope, you're coming to Sony.
That shit's gotta just be like, what the fuck? If I was an Xbox fan. If I was a Microsoft fan, loving Star Wars, knowing that I just bought a new Xbox and PlayStation 5 is getting Knights of the Old Republic. And it's like, it's like I don't even get a port. It's not even a time exclusive. Like, I mean, we don't know so far, right? I mean, they just not. But if it's like shit's ever coming out on Xbox, it's like, man, Sony really like you said, they're trying that grave for Microsoft.
No, I'm telling you right now, because we already seen the success of Destiny and stuff like that, which was they were the people that made Halo and stuff like that. So and I think like the PlayStation platform is the preferred choice for Destiny. That's what I've heard. Don't quote me on that. That's what I've heard. But if Sony were to come up with something like Fable, and come up with a Fable killer or anything else that's exclusive to exclusive to Xbox, and Sony were to come up with a killer of it, it's trouble. It's trouble in paradise. Like honestly, like Xbox should just wrap it up and just be a streaming platform, Because like for Sony to come out there and come out strong and say, let me go ahead and take the Star Wars away from you and stuff like that, and come out with hit exclusives that ain't coming out to Xbox and stuff. I mean, they even kept Final Fantasy on PlayStation. Xbox, I don't even think they're gonna get a Final Fantasy, except for maybe Final Fantasy 7. But that's, I mean, how many when it like Final Fantasy 7 came out 2019, 20 or 19, I forgot.
I think it came out.
Okay, so they're not getting Final Fantasy 7 anytime soon. They will eventually, but not anytime soon.
Right. Yeah, man. Petey, what you got to think about that exclusive of Knights of the Republic switching platforms over to Sony, and those Star Wars fans or those Xbox fans who really look fondly back on that game, hoping to see on the new Xbox, and it's like, nope, you gotta buy a PS5 to get this.
Well, it basically is like Sony basically just said, all right, Xbox, your move. Literally, it's like a game of chess at this point because you get a game that a lot of Xbox fans have been waiting for, and the announcement came on a Sony system. So Xbox fans are like, what the hell? Oh my God. Blasphemy for sharing. This isn't supposed to happen. This is sacrilege to Xbox fans. You're gonna have all that. But honestly, it'll give people that never gotten an Xbox a chance to play a game that has been remastered to its utmost ability. Remastered, remade. This is a remake of Knights of the Republic, but it gives Sony fans a chance to play a great game. It's one of the best Star Wars games ever. Like Fallen Order has become like the newest one. So now they're doing Fallout 2, but anyways, like since Knights of the Republic, like it's one of the greatest Star Wars games ever made. We've had you had Force Unleashes, you had Fallen Order, but this one is massive. This is Sony. Like, look, I got the balls. What you gonna do? That's how I take it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, dude.
And Sony's got more exclusives coming. Because let me say something for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Like literally the only thing that Xbox has that I've seen is Halo. They've got the Fable, and I'm pretty sure that now that they have Bethesda, they're gonna probably make Elder Scrolls a PC and Xbox exclusive. And honestly,
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, they should. They should. It will honestly increase people to get both consoles. But not only that, people that have PCs and PlayStations can have opportunity to play these games. Do they want to? Probably not. Because like me, I'm a console player. I get a gaming laptop. I could probably play these games on my laptop. It's got good specs. But besides that, this now it's going to be about who's got the biggest balls. Sony just, took a franchise. I don't know if it's, cross-platform at the moment, but at the moment, Sony has a reveal for it. But that's a huge move. And Xbox, all you have is Halo, and you're pushing Game Pass. Like, I understand, for like $15 a month, you can probably play as many games that come out on Game Pass. But the exclusives, where are they? Like, literally, where are your exclusives, Xbox? I don't see any exclusives like Fable, Halo, Sauna's Blade. But then Sauna's Blade ended up coming on the Switch. And then Cuphead went on multi-platform a few years later.
Yeah.
So what can Xbox do for me to get them? Because literally the only person in the house that has an Xbox is my wife, and she barely plays that. She plays the Switch. And she literally said there's nothing really out there for me to play on the Xbox, Xbox Series X. There's no need for her to get one because there's nothing that grabbed her attention. And I can relate to that. If there was a game that grabbed both our attentions, we might have both systems. But at this moment, Sony has all my attention. It will really drop a whole bunch of games that are exclusive to that system. And if it comes out on PC, cool. But the PS5 got it first, and it gives us opportunity to play them while fans later can play on the PC port or whatever it goes on to. And as for Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's supposed to be a year, release for it to be exclusively on the the PS4. I ain't seen no release date on that game yet, even for retrograde. So
nope.
I think Sony might have Square Enix in their hands again, because we haven't heard spoken on other systems. So literally, Sony and Square Enix are they're buddies now. They're buddies.
All right. So real quick, what do we got coming up? Because it's September. September is about to wrap up pretty fast anyway. So we got October, November, and December. They got to drive holiday sales. Sony already knows they're going to sell consoles regardless, Xbox, they're still figuring things out. Right now they're banking on Halo, and people are saying don't even buy Halo day one because that shit's going to be buggy as fuck, which is I'm entitled to believe that it might be buggy as fuck, And the fact of the matter is we have not heard any announcements of Xbox is making more consoles to sell in stores. The only thing I've seen in stores is the Xbox Series S, and I paused it so many times. So I was like, it's something I could outright buy, cool, but I don't want one, And even if I saw Xbox Series X, if it wasn't for the thing of me not trying to finish up the my like the holy trinity of console stuff like that, I'd be like, well, there's really anything to drive me to get the Xbox Series X. The problem is like the holiday season's around the corner, and right now people are banking on the gaming awards, which is coming up, like not that far away. I
That
don't
is
know
true.
I don't know what other gaming announcements or gaming shows is going to be out before the gaming awards stuff like that, but Xbox they gotta come up with some heavy hitters. They got I mean who the fuck Phil Spencer need to be like, hey, we're gonna be dropping more consoles to sell by the holidays come November and some shit like that, because I'm ready to pre-order one, but at the same time, like what are you going to bring to the table besides Halo? Like, that cannot be your selling point to sell to sell that box. Like, you got to have more than just Halo. Like, what's coming out to out in the holidays besides Halo for people that want to get that box?
I'm gonna tell you what's coming out. That motherfucking Game Pass. That's all they gonna do. Hit Game Pass, man. Fit for $14.99. You can play any game that you want. Look, I get the PlayStation Now, subscription, for PlayStation, and I've used it a few times. And not gonna lie, having those subscriptions, I can see how beneficial it can be, and that alone can sell your console. Believe it or not. Like, yeah, I understand, everyone wants some new games, but if you think about it like this, if you have a PC or gaming, whatever, you can get the Game Pass without having the new console and play it on your PC. So you really don't even need a system like an Xbox in order to sell. If the Game Pass sells, Microsoft wins in that regard.
True.
So personally, I think that I like I said, Microsoft haven't done anything yet to sell me. Like, all the games that I want to play, I can play on Game Pass. There's no point in getting a system. But Sony has it to where you need this system in order to play these games. And that is why, the majority of us in this group have the PS5. So
Right. You can't sell consoles by trying to sell subscriptions. That's not gonna work. I mean, I hate to see them end up like HBO Max in the streaming wars, so far behind than everyone else. I mean, we all know subscription based payment systems is like the future. It's here, this new norm. You paying a one time fee to gain access to anything is pretty much done. So in that regard, it makes sense for them to go with the Game Pass and this and the fourth. Here's the thing: you can't sell a console with that feature by itself. It's just you're telling people to use their hard-earned money to buy your console that's barely anything exciting to play on, and you see the guys across the street, they're getting exclusive, they're getting the stuff that you want to play, but I got Game Pass and I'm limited. I don't want to play, as Xbox, not really showcasing me any heat. Microsoft needs to get their heat back. I definitely feel what Ryan's saying. It needs to be there needs to be definitely some kind of event, maybe the Game Awards ceremony. They could feel some stuff to try to get heat back. That actually would be a perfect platform for them to try to showcase some titles. So I hope, I don't want this to be one-sided. I hope they can come with something to keep this interesting. I hope they're keeping their cards close to their chest, and maybe there's some kind of big reveal they can do to kind of help push the hype into the holiday season.
yeah, for sure. Because as O said, Game Awards is coming, and we already know these reveals are about to be huge. And you know how the Game Awards is. Like, everybody slept at the Game Awards the last few times, and we all, but our group hasn't, because we know, like, after the first year, we were like, Game Awards, whatever. And then the second year, we're like, okay, now they're onto something. And now we've gotten to the point where whenever we see Jeff Keighley on something, we're watching. Like, that man has a presence at this point. So if Microsoft does not have anything for this year, I feel bad for the fans, because all you have is Halo, and all you have are franchises that are multi-platform. Like, You can play Call of Duty on anything now. You can play it on your fucking phone at this point. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I feel bad for Microsoft fans because they're just waiting on that exclusive that like draws other fans from other companies to them. But I don't see that drive for Microsoft. They doing the subscription thing, hoping it sells. And from what I've seen, it has gone up. With the Series X and the Microsoft Game Pass. But in that regard, Sony needs to have a better Game Pass too. Because I have PlayStation Now and the PlayStation Plus collection. If Sony wants to get better with them, I mean, they got more exclusives at this point than um, the Microsoft and the Switch. But then most things that come on Xbox go to Switch first and then go to PlayStation. So if you have a Switch, even if you have a Switch, some of the titles that go on the Xbox, you can have it on Switch. So what's the point of having an Xbox?
Yeah. True sentiments, dude. True sentiments. For real. All in all, closing statements here. Sony's PlayStation Showcase for 2021 was a for sure hit. It was not just a home run. In my opinion, it was a grand slam. And Microsoft is going to be definitely playing catch-up ball. I'm not saying it's the bottom of the ninth, bottom of the eighth, or the seventh, but they got to do a little something and catch this heat back and get this heat back from because the Sony PlayStation Showcase was very, very, very strong. And I think it definitely reached not just gamers, but non-gamers as well with the Wolverine, Spider-Man 2. And just the perfect timing. We got Venom coming out next month, Spider-Verse, Multiverse. We got all these different kind of hype that's going on. And I think timed it just right to kind of latch onto that as well. So all in all, in my opinion, the Sony PlayStation case as a conference, as a hype kind of thing, and the impact that they did, they perfectly nailed and executed what they wanted to, and now it's up to Microsoft so they can get that.